So I won't say I didn't just take it wrong. Like, I can see that if I took it wrong, I get that. I understand. They did. Tiffany Haddish too. Oh, Tiffany Haddish got done dirty. Even though I'm not really a fan of Tiffany Haddish, she got done dirty. Aries Spears, they tried to destroy that man, bro, to where he switched up now. Now he's like literally censoring himself. I'm sorry. I'm not going to answer the way I used to answer. If you watch his last interview, he literally said, yo, I would have went crazy a few years ago, and now I'm going to be respectable and say that I'm a pass on answering that topic. And that's because they destroyed Aries Spears, nigga. They went and found an old skit that I remember when that skit came out, because me and my friends was into like dark and edgy humor, right? So we was watching all the like, what's his name? Funny or Die, right? That was like a website that was putting out crazy edgy stuff too as well, right? That was funny. What's his name too? Childish Gambino had like a crew of people that they was doing edgy ass humor, right? What's his name? This is a whole bunch of people. I could just start naming a list of YouTube comedians from back then. But when you were doing it independent and you didn't have like the funding and promotion and I guess namesake to get that attention, most people would go with the shock value route, right? Let me say something crazy that's going to get attention, and then people are going to watch it, and then they're going to see it's funny or whatever. Aries Spears put out a skit where he was pretending to be, how can I describe this? What Law and Order SVU Stabler and Olivia had to go and chase down with Munch and Ice-T. I've always called him Ice-T. I don't call him what his name is on the show. He Ice-T, right? And the captain, who's just angry all the time, right? The people that they go and look for, right? If you're petty and foul at the same time, like, right? I focus so much on trying to find another way of saying that I lost the plot. But anyway, he was pretending to be this, and Tiffany Haddish brings like her son or something like that to his house, and he's doing all this inappropriate stuff, and it's weird. It's supposed to be like a funny way of him doing it, but it's also a public service announcement, right? At the end of the video, it says, be careful who you leave your kids with, right? Because there's so many times within like just, I guess, certain families or just, there might be a relative that is crazy and just nasty as hell, and people will ignore it because he's a relative, and because you want to do whatever you want to do, party or go to the club or hang out, you just risk the safety of your child, right? There's a movie that Spike Lee made, and this is kind of a spoiler alert, but it's called Red Hook Summer. Like, that was one of my biggest questions by the end of that movie is what's wrong with the mother? Didn't get this whole thing is her fault. But anyway, I digress, right? He did a skit, and it was supposed to be a public service announcement just for, be aware, right? Things like that. And no one was bothered by it at all until years later, where he said something offensive during an interview about Lizzo. And Lizzo fans was like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? You want to give her criticism? How about this old video we found? Cut off the ending part where it's supposed to be a public service announcement, and just is like, this is who he really is. And cancel Tiffany Haddish too, because this is what they like to do. As if the video was a fucking live broadcast, right? Like it was a live stream, and this is just what Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish was doing, and they're lonesome. No, nigga, that was not what it was. But people perceived it as that, and Tiffany Haddish took a hit. Aries Spears took the biggest hit. But the woman that was making the accusation was like, I didn't know this was what they were filming with my kid, and this, and this. After, allegedly some palms were greased, it was, you know what? We talked about it, and I don't want to press charges or anything. We're just going to get over it. We'll move on, I think Tiffany Haddish is a wonderful person. She didn't mean it. The fuck? Whoa. Your whole story just switched up, boy. You were trying to like rally the pitchforks and chase these guys down. Like 10 years, 13 years later. This is what you was trying to do. Like this is the industry. It's foul. Like I feel really bad for Aries Spears, especially due to the fact that was his comedy, nigga. When he was on Mad TV, he got rewarded for that type of raunchy behavior. So once he became independent, he thought that he could just keep doing crazy 90s extreme comedy. And he was wrong, right? He was wrong because people are going to perceive it as whatever it is and try to do whatever they do. Right. But yeah, Aries Spears, now he cleaned up his image and he's doing different jokes and he's thinking before he goes after whatever in the interview, because people pay him to come to interviews and then they throw a topic out and he just rips people to shreds, right? And then he has to deal with not being able to make any kind of money for the rest of the year because everyone blackballs him. Now he's second guessing and he's like, okay, chill. I think that I don't rock with that. Is you either or, my nigga. That's the way I feel, right? If people don't rock with me, which is already a thing, because I have a sense of humor, I'm petty and crack jokes, right? Like, and I like to just be me and be myself and be real. It just is what it is. I don't look for validation from others, nor am I seeking to be Hollywood or get famous or any of that shit, right? I just want to be who I am and have the freedom to be who I am, right? If I can do that, I'm good. If that's podcasting or just content creating or just all of these things, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not trying to get down with the popular party. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of foul stuff that goes on in the industry that I don't want to be a part of. I would rather do things independent and by myself and with just me and my supporters and rocking with me, right? Like people might do things like try to clown because of the numbers. They're not realizing by me having no like type of person in the title and me just putting a random title, it shows me who's actually here rocking with me, the individual, right? And I'm appreciative for all of you guys. So I think that you just got to know who to deal with, who to rock with, and just stick to yourself, right? But I do feel bad for Aries Spears. I feel bad. I think that he's funny as hell. Him and his work on Mad TV was some of the greatest stuff ever, ever, right? Imagine if people was to go back into Mad TV and start canceling all these niggas for the jokes they made on that. That would be so bad, man. Happens more often than I like to say. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That was crazy. I actually don't remember that, but I go offline for months at a time. I get it. While we rock with you, bro, appreciate you. So you haven't been able to help with modding, having to help clean off shelves and throw away expired canned items. No problem. Hey, what's up, Jody? How you doing? Make sure I'm reading everything in the chat. That's the thing about social media. Extreme jokes get taken wrong and you have a storm of backlash and plethora of silly individuals get banned. Yeah, that's 100%. And for me, I come from like the edgy humor style of comedy of just me watching people like Tom Green, Andy Kaufman, right? Even the Joe Rogan crew. There's people I was watching before I was watching Joe Rogan, like Ari Shafir. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I was watching his stuff. Probably when I shouldn't have been watching this stuff. Me and my friends were young as hell. And we ended up finding I think this tape that he put out where you had to call the number late night and they would play a commercial. It was like the movie that's so crazy that it's banned from everywhere. And you call the number and they mail it to your house. And that jank was like, wow, that's a wild ass movie. I forgot the name of it. Some of it is on YouTube now. It's like skits that he would do, free trips back to Africa. He had a boat. My man came out with like watermelon and chicken. I had free trips back to Africa. I thought that shit was hilarious. But I'm not sensitive, right? And I can get the commentary in something. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of this humor that if you look deep, it's the comedian saying something, right? That's beyond what what's perceived from everyone else, right? Some of the best comedians do that. Andy Kaufman was one of the greatest. His jokes went beyond like what people thought. He would have like whole bits where him and someone is beefing. And for years until after his death, you didn't realize it was fake and that it was all like a joke and him just playing a prank. That's like genius type of stuff. You don't really get that type of stuff anymore. Yo, Mad TV was the ish, right? I'm mad HBO took it off the app, yo. I mean, I was only like 3 seasons in. I was trying to rewatch the entire Mad TV, and they took it off streaming services. At least the ones I was watching. Everybody in Living Color wouldn't have a career if they went back. Yo, could you imagine Jim Carrey? Like, if people went and look, yeah. And how would they even be able to do In Living Color now, right? Do you know that they tried to bring back that TV show so many times and it kept failing, as in like just behind the scenes, they couldn't get certain things. The network was having limits and telling them they couldn't do stuff, like, and them being underpaid too as well. You know how many stars were made from Living Color? Hate them. Feeling better, thank God. Starting to feel like myself again. That's what's up. I remember Mad TV. I remember Mad Magazine. I remember that. It's Reed Shafir. Yeah, he's dope. Sometimes he do go too far. I think that the Kobe Bryant thing was disgusting, bro. I can't rock with what he said about Kobe Bryant. Nigga, the day that he passed away was nuts. Too soon, too disrespectful.